Okay, Mayor Martin, you may begin the meeting.
All right then. So it's November 2nd, 2020. I'll call the meeting to order and welcome everyone. I'm going to remind everyone of declaration of pecuniary interest. I do have a declaration to put in for item number 4 for staff reports with regards to arena advertisement. So at that time, I'll have to pass the meeting over to Deputy Mayor Giroux to look after that item. Is there any other declaration to declare? Seeing none, I'll remind everyone to please put your cell phones on vibrate, and any guests, please do the same and mute your microphone when you're not speaking. So the first item here is minutes from the regular council meeting of October 19th and a special council meeting October 23rd. I'll look for a motion to receive those minutes. Moved by Deputy Mayor Giroux. And seconder, Councillor Pomeroy. All in favor? And that's carried. So the delegation part of it, we'll move on past that until the technical difficulties are worked out then, Bob?
Yes, that's correct, Mayor Martin. The delegation is still having difficulty joining the meeting, so we will cycle back to the delegation as soon as we're able.
Good. Okay, so we'll move into staff reports for information. And we have the first one there is from Laura with regards to Economic Development Committee terms of reference. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you. Good morning, Council.
Is there any questions from Council with regards to that?
Through you, Mr.
Larry,
Mayor.
go ahead.
In the case, Laura, I know it refers to members have to be businesses. In the case that, say there weren't enough people come forward to fill the positions, if somebody in our municipality, for an example, is a retired business person that's has an interest in economic development, would they be allowed to apply?
Through you, Mayor Martin, that's a really good question. I think we'd have to probably open that up to the Economic Development Committee first to see if that's something they would be interested in doing. The terms of reference are pretty clear about who the volunteers are, but that's not to say that we couldn't expand that as a committee, look at it.
Okay, as you're aware, there are some people that, as I say, they're retired professional people, they're retired business people that have showed an interest in economic development. That's the reason for my question. Thank you.
And through you, Mr. Mayor, those people have a wealth of knowledge, so that it would be definitely something worth talking about with the committee.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so probably the best thing, Larry, would be to recommend to them to at least apply for it, just so they don't get missed, and then the discussion will happen at the economic development meeting.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So Laura, that would be the proper procedure then, apply regardless?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes. So apply, then we have their name, we have their information, and that they are interested. If they don't apply during the application process, I don't think we can open it up again after that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right then, so we have that report. There's no other questions. I'll look for a motion to receive that report. Deputy Mayor Giroux.
Motion to receive with a thank you to Laura and those that put this together. I think the terms of reference are very, very good, and thank Councillor Ellis. That was a good idea. Thank you.
Okay. Moved by Deputy Mayor Giroux that we receive this report and seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. Did you have any questions, Barry, or anybody got any questions? All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. The next report we have is from Wendell with the year-to-date budget performance. Hello, Wendell. Is there any questions with regards to that? Go ahead, Dave.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Wendell, for this report. we will be talking about this in
Yes.
budget time, right? Because I have a lot of questions and I don't want to get into it today, but yeah.
Yeah, and if you have specific questions, you can always come in or give me a call and we can look up any information that you may need.
All right, thank you. Motion
Any
to-
other questions for Wendolyn? The only comment I had, and I think same thing, it's going to come through in budget, but the one thing that would be really good to see is the comparators from last year to this year or whatever, just to see how it's, and I would think that the budget will have comparators from one year to the next.
Yes, that's being compiled now.
Okay, all right, that's good. Okay, so if there's no other questions for that report, I'd take a motion to receive it. Moved by Councillor Ellis, second by Deputy Mayor Giroux. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you.
And the next report is with regards to closed session meetings. This is something that was added on the last agenda because of the way we've had to do the closed sessions. Normally they're all in with the minutes, and right now we do a separate meeting for closed. So this is just a report, a summary of the closed sessions. So I would take a motion to receive that. If there's any questions, moved by Deputy Mayor Giroux and seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. Any questions? All in favor? And that's carried. Okay. And I don't know if the delegation, Bob, go ahead.
Yep, through you, Mayor Martin is ready to join us.
Okay.
I think we're just gonna try and turn on his camera here.
He's
Hello?
unmuted. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Bob?
Yes. Yes, it's Bob Beatty here. How are you this morning?
Good. Good. We don't have the camera, but we do have audio. So if that works for you.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Uh,
So you had a question here with regards to improving the access to property in Havelock-Belmont-Methuen?
yes, I did. I own property in the first concession, and there's an open road allowance that we've used for a number of years to access it, but it's deteriorated, and I'd like to do a little bit of work on it to improve it. You can't see me, I guess, but you can hear me?
No, I can hear you though. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm a paraplegic. I've been paraplegic for quite a few years, and I'm getting up there in age, and I used to be able to take my four-wheeler and access the property, but I'm getting to the point where I pretty well have to use my van, which is a handicap van, which has a ramp and stuff, so it's quite low. So I'd like to just take a few rocks out and put a little gravel down, just make it easier to access my property with the van.
Okay. Yeah, we did get your paperwork as far as a drawing there with which shows it. I'm not sure what the process is here, but Bob, do you have anything to add to this?
There we go. We'll unmute.
Oh, sorry, I should have said Bob Angioni, not Bob Beatty. So sorry for that.
Yes, we're all getting a little confused here. Through you, Mayor Martin, we can certainly refer this matter to staff and we can review it through our building planning departments and have a thorough look at and see what we can do here.
Yeah, okay. Dave, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. We have done this in the past. There was quite a length of road allowance that was redeveloped or fixed up, whatever you want to call it, was it made it more possible for the individual wanting to get into a piece of property. There was a process to go through. We had to make sure that the road allowance, in fact, was where it was supposed to be, where we was going to figure out and stuff like that. But it's not that we haven't done it in the past, but there is certainly a process that we'll have to go through.
Yeah. So Mr. Beatty, yes, that's, so we do have the drawing here of it. I don't know how long a piece of road that is or closed road allowance there, or unopened road allowance, but I think it would be referred to staff that we could see what we can do here to help you.
Okay, I appreciate that. I talked to one of the members in your road department. I can't think of his name right now, but you probably know who I'm talking about. You can't have that many people in that department. He's probably, what is that man's name?
Was it Peter? Was it Peter that you were
Peter.
talking to?
What was his last name?
Lawson?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we can,
I have his name in my book. If you want to just give me a second here, I'll see if I can.
okay. Is there any other questions from council with regards to this or comments?
I just wonder what the process would be. Like, I'd like to have a letter or something just saying that I've consulted council and if they have, you know, any concerns or anything, they could state them in the letter. So that,
Okay.
that would be good. So will I get anything as a result of today's meeting, like a letter or something, just outlining what's happened, took place today?
That's what I would think. We would talk to staff and we'd probably find which road person you were talking to and familiarize ourselves with this. Dave, you had a question, then Bob?
Thank you, Mayor Martin. Looking at the maps, I'm not a good map person, so I have a question for Mr. Beatty is, does that road allowance that you're speaking of intersect with the old railroad bed?
No, actually the furthest property towards the railroad that I own is lot 2 in the first concession, and the railroad doesn't wait a minute, let me think. That's lot 2. Yeah, the road and the railroad right away don't intersect because it's the intersection is on lot 1 and I own lot 2.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And I have the person's name now. Pete Lawson.
Yeah.
Pete Lawson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not with us today. He's away, but were you looking to purchase it or just fix it up?
Purchase the road allowance?
Yeah, like, is that the question, or is it just to fix it up so you can access the property?
Just to fix it up so I can access the property. Yeah, I'm not interested in purchasing it at all.
Okay. All right, then Bob, go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. So we
Sorry,
can
Bob Banjoni, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll get that yet.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. We can certainly provide a letter to Mr. Beatty explaining the results of the conversation today. I would suggest to council that this be referred to staff. We will do our homework on this. We will get the exact details of the possible upgrades to this location, and we will bring a final report to council.
Okay. Is that what you were looking for, Mr. Beatty? As far as we will look at it this week and get back to you on that.
That sounds good. Probably I'd hear from you in the next week or two then, right?
Probably before the next meeting or by the next meeting, Bob, probably?
Yes, I would say we can do that.
Okay.
And
All
when
right.
is the next meeting?
The
2
ninth-
weeks from today.
2 weeks from today?
Yeah,
That's correct.
That would be November what, don't have a calendar handy. but
November 16th.
November 16th. All right. That's very good. Well, I'd like to express my appreciation for council's efforts to help me with this. Thank you very much. And I guess we're done.
Yeah, we'll take care of that, Mr. Beatty, and get right back to you as soon as we can.
All right. Okay, well, I want to do one thing here. I want to see if I can, it says start my video. I'm just going to click on it. I may lose you. If I do, then have a good day, but just tell me if you can see me. I'm going to click it right now. Nothing's happening. Wait a minute.
There you are.
Wait a minute. Here I am. Goodness gracious, I got my hunter's orange on. I'm playing hooky from my.
Yeah, we got you now. It's a little late, but was there any other questions for Mr. Beatty? Okay, we'll let you get back out on your watch, Mr. Beatty, and
Okay, well, Pete Lawson has my phone number, and I believe Bianca does too. So if there are some questions, something comes up, feel free to give me a call, and I'll do the best I can to if you have.
moved by Councillor Webb and seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, thank you, Mr. Beatty.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, installing the ice at the arena. Welcome, Ryan.
Request for ice time through some private renters for some youth and skills development opportunities for kids, and then there was some a few extra hours of ice requested for some men's groups now that we have better available ice time, given that minor hockey isn't taking it. So other than that, the health and safety guidelines have been developed, and they're ready to roll out if council chooses to proceed with it. So yeah, that's basically it. If you have any questions.
All right. Dave, go ahead.
Thanks for your report, Brian. I emailed, I think it was eight things into our CEO, Bob, and pretty well answered them all in your report. One question that I might not have asked, and if I read it in the report, I've read over top of it. Public skating, is that available?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we're looking at being able to do that. In the first opening stages, I wasn't looking at doing that. I was gonna look at reintroducing that a little bit later. But I think with the health and safety guidelines that are developed there, we have a maximum of 24 participants. So something I was thinking about was if we were to do public skating, I was looking at doing like you have to sign up ahead of time and pre-register for it. So that was something that I was looking at doing. It may be of interest to council know that a lot of the surrounding municipalities are not doing figure skating or public skating this year. But I think there's some ways that we can get around that, and we can do that safely. And like I said, maybe just having like the sign up prior to the event, and then we can kind of, cap it at 24 and still allow people the opportunity to get out for a skate.
Thanks for that, Ryan. A couple more questions, if you bear with me. If you could clarify between games or sessions, skill sessions, whatever, it said the door would be locked and there wouldn't be anybody else allowed in the arena. But I don't like the idea of people being in the arena if the doors are locked and they can't get out if something happens. So how are we gonna work around that?
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Mayor, that's basically what all the other facilities are doing. They're treating it as you reserve the ice, you're allowed in, and then they lock the front door, and that's how we control the amount of people that can come into the building. If we didn't lock the entrance door, we would leave the door open basically for additional people to come in without having our staff screen them. So basically, we would probably have one of our staff persons working in the lobby to make sure that if anyone needed out that way, they could get out. But that's going to be an entrance only, and then there's going to be directional arrows and signage on the floor that would direct people to exit through the end of the hallway where the dressing rooms are. So there will be staff right there, and like I said, the directional arrows telling people which way to exit. I think that I think that people get onto it pretty quickly.
Thank you for that. One more. So, well, council chooses we've had a couple weeks and people, you said, some interested. How many hours a week now do you figure that the ice will be used in? Evening, will it be, because we have to hire more staff, what kind of scheduling? Like, are we going to be in the overtime? Are we going to be having 2 shifts? Kind of trying to explain that to me.
So through Mr. Mayor, so as of right now, like it looks like we're going to have basically maybe 10 to 15 hours rented a week. I'm not sure on that. I think once council decides whether they're going to put the ice in or not, I think that's when we'll start to really realize who's looking for ice time. So the thing about the staff this year is that we're going to require 2 people to be working the arena, just because you have to control the door and the cleaning requirements under the new regulation that we wouldn't be able to do it with 1 person. So I was suggesting in that report that we continue and hire our part-time winter student. And I think between the student, the operator, lead hand, and myself, I think that would be enough. I would look at the rentals and try and group them on days where it made sense, so that we would try and group them all like in one kind of like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday kind of thing. And then if we didn't have any rentals, we wouldn't just throw in, say, an hour on Thursday at 8 o'clock at night or something. We'd try and group them so in a way that it's efficient for our staff to maintain it. Does that help?
Well, yeah, it must be a headache for you to try and figure that out also, because I understand that, it's going to be split shifts or something. I mean, I can't see the arena having people arena attendance on 2 shifts. I don't know how that would work. I mean, anyway, you're the manager, so I do know I went back in our records from 2019 and 2020, what it cost to open the arena and get it painted and all that. This ice surface done, and it's quite a bit of money. But anyway, that's we're talking about safety and also money, so it's hard to say. Thank you for the effort you put into this.
Okay, Barry, I think, and then Larry, did you have your hand up, Larry?
No.
Okay, Barry, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been going over some of Deputy Mayor Dro's points there, and the one that I would go for if we did open the arena is number 8, which was 1 shift. Because what you've said so far on ice rental times, it's not going to be that great. So if the arena was open, say from 2 till 10, 2 in the afternoon till 10 at night, or 3 till 11, yeah. I think we'd have to do, that's my own feeling, and I don't know, they're just a person. And I don't think there's going to be neither, but anyway, I think my own personal feeling is you got 3 guys there, yourself and 2 staff that should be able to handle that.
Okay, Hart, go ahead.
Yeah, just to Councillor Pomeroy's point, I was speaking with a few people from Norwood, and they're operating their rink right now with 1 full-time and 2 part-time, and they do have a student that helps. But along the same lines, 3 and 11 cut down the hours, and I think see much on the rink between 7 in the morning and say 3 in the afternoon. If kind of focus the rentals that would be if Ryan, we got a hold of Greg Norwood to see what they're doing, but they seem to be running just fine over there. We don't know, maybe they've got a little bit different secret than we do, but I know it can be done because my son's been playing over there for a month now, and we just rented the ice. My brother rented the ice privately in Norwood, so we locked the doors. They open the doors 15 minutes before the next ice starts so that the people can get in to get dressed. Both rentals are separated, so they're not in the same rooms. There's no contact. It seemed to be doing quite well in Norwood, so I can't see why we couldn't have the same operation here in Havelock.
Okay, Larry, go ahead.
Just a clarification from Ryan. Ryan, you said the minor hockey had backed away from this year, as is the figure skating?
Yes, through you, Ms. Mary. Minor hockey is not reserving any ice this year, and figure skating is still considering doing programming in January sometime.
So the only ice that would be being used then would be like rentals, some old timers club or whatever. Is that true?
Yes, that's through Ms. Mary. Yeah, that's true. I am anticipating getting some ice reservations from other local minor hockeys. Just I guess with the half an hour delay in between rentals, the amount of rentable ice in our surrounding arenas are in a little bit of a shortage. So I'm anticipating we're going to take a little bit of that. We're going to give them some relief, and they're going to rent some off of Havelock here.
Okay, and then the one thing that's being missed here as far as the difference between Norwood and Havelock is the facility side of things. One of our people is facilities, and the shoveling the snow at all our areas there in the morning always happens about 6 o'clock. So we could pass that over to roads possibly. I don't know. If we're going to go that route, that's something that we do different than others, is looking after all our facilities, the library, the Stone Hall, and all of the areas. Anyways, it's just something else to consider, that we are different from others. But the big thing here is whether we're going to put the ice in or not. I think that's the big question, and Ryan's got all the rules around it, and all the things that go with it are up to him to worry about, not for us. It's just as long as the protocols are safe and we're not going to get into trouble that way. That's my big concern. We've already budgeted to open the arena last year. We could defer that to next year's. It's up to council. So go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, you said it wasn't up to us. It is up to us, and we want to see it. If it does open, we want to see it run efficiently. Like Hart has said, myself and Deputy Mayor Giroux and Councillor Ellis, that if it was only one shift,
yeah,
that would be more efficient, and we don't need anybody there through the day. If you're going to be open from 3 to 11, And hopefully we can anticipate more rentals, because as it stands, when minor hockey backed out, you know, it's worth taking a crack at it. And the other question I do have for Ryan is the plant ready to turn on?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the plant is ready to be turned on.
It's ready to go.
Yep.
You can just hit the switch and away we go. That was my last question, but I still maintain that we don't need extra help. We got 3 of you there, and
Ryan, you've always done good at looking after the efficiency side of things, so I have no worries of, you know, coming back with a good, you've heard from council about what we're looking for. If you could work with that, you know, for the future, because it, you know, you can adjust the hours. I think Art's been involved over in Norwood and seen how it's working over there. I'm sure you've talked to all the neighboring areas, and I was going to actually email the mayor in Peterborough because they have an issue with shortage up there, and I've been talking with other mayors that we need to start looking at these arenas as a region. There's lots of people looking for ice, and we need to start working together here. So anyway, so I'll look for, has council got any more questions or comments here? And we can move on here as far as what's your thoughts here for opening the arena? Art, go ahead.
So I guess take the lead from Councillor Pomeroy. Say we make a motion to open the rink immediately with keeping it to a 1 shift, 2 to 10 or 3 to 11, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. And you can work with that, Ryan, as far as see what you can come up with.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know how the snow shoveling part of it works, but you can deal with that as far as you got 3 people there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to make a comment through Mr. Mayor to the rest of the council. Like with this part-time winter student, like they're not guaranteed any hours, but I would suggest that we should secure somebody in that position, because if one of our staff gets sick this winter or something happens where they can't come to work, we're not going to really have anybody to replace them. So it really doesn't cost them anything. We don't have to guarantee them any hours. But if, like, you know, if somebody did end up getting sick and they can't come to work and they have to, then it may impact our operation negatively. And really with the extra costs, like there's no extra costs. It's only the hours that we bring them in for. So I think it would be helpful, but those are just my thoughts.
Okay, Larry, go ahead. You're muted. Still muted.
What I have a problem with is, like, last meeting, like, there isn't anybody sitting at this table that didn't want to open the arena. And it was mainly, my thought anyway, was mainly to go open the arena maybe the 1st November, 1st December. So our hockey league here would have ice, right? And I know we all felt bad about having to defer it till now. And they're not coming back. And probably not the figure skating for our municipality. So we're going the whole 9 yards here, trying to work around COVID-19 for maybe some rentals of a few hours a week. To me, now that our kids are not involved there, the hockey league, I don't think, like I'm not in favor. I'm going to be upfront. Like I thought probably the 1st November, if things hadn't got worse or there was a new direction from the province, that would be our move. But to go to the expense, to go to the challenge of putting all the safeguards in for a few hours of rental to whoever, whether it's an old timers league or somebody just wants to, whatever. I just think that we're creating quite an expense and the challenge of enforcing COVID restrictions. My thoughts.
Just to answer that quickly, it's not an expense. We're getting money from COVID to cover it. So I really don't buy that argument. And in terms of, it's just a bunch of old timers that want to play hockey. Well, maybe that's what they like to do. And maybe we shouldn't sit here and pass judgment on people in our community that like to recreate in ways they like to do it. Might not be what we like to do, but there are people here that like to do it. And I don't like when we sit here. And too often what comes from this council is when it comes to the youth or things that deal with young people, there's no thought, there's no commitment, and there's really no commitment when it comes to money. Things like this are always chopped because of money. That's what I hear from the community. I'll just leave it at.
Okay, Art, just let,
First of all, the reply there, nobody's passing judgment, Councillor Webb. Nobody's passing judgment, or my comment wasn't passing judgment. It was all focused on, you asked the efficiency part of it, and you asked COVID's going to give us some money, but where we need to use that money is another question. But it was no judgment on the people that wanted to come and rent the ice tent.
okay. So we've had lots of good discussion here, and I do think that, like Ryan says, it has to be in there that if there's a need for, like, it doesn't cost anything to have the opportunity for a person there. We don't know what we're going to get for rentals. There could be, what I'm reading in the paper and seeing on TV, there is a shortage around, and we might have missed the boat by waiting so long, but a lot of probably already, maybe set up already. But I know the 3-on-3 is a local group that's, is it 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, Ryan? I'm not sure, but that's a local group that was looking for hours for the kids. It's separate from the hockey, but it is local. So we do have a motion here, and I'll look for a seconder. And this is the last time it's coming back to the table. So what was your motion again, Councillor Webb?
Motion was to open the rink immediately with trying to limit staff hours to 1 shift per day.
Okay. So I do have a mover there. Barry, go ahead.
Just a question. And our staff will be the ones that run it, the 3 for the 1 shift? Art?
Yes, Barry, that'll be, the 3, Ryan, Steve, and Josh.
Okay. All right then. So that's and if you think you can work that way, Ryan, that's I'm sure you can come up with a plan and you can work the hours around that. Okay. Did I have a seconder there? So I'm not seeing a seconder here for this motion, Councillor Webb. So I think we should just say that the arena is closed for the season. Okay. All right, we're going to move on here. We've talked about this too much and wasted too much time. The arena is shut for the season, Ryan.
Well, hold on.
What?
So that's it? There's no
seconder for the motion, Hart.
Okay. It was just funny because in the comments, I heard a lot of comments from people that saying they wanted the rink open.
Yeah.
When it came time to vote, nobody wanted to vote.
We've spent 3 meetings on this, Hart, and it's obvious it's not the appetite of this council. So the protocols are there for every other arena in Ontario, except for Havelock. So that's fine. The arena is closed for the season. We'll move on. The next thing we have here is the Christmas lights. So Bob, go ahead.
Sorry, through you, Mayor Martin, perhaps we could get a motion to just receive the report.
Okay. Motion to receive the report. Councillor Ellis. Seconder. Deputy Mayor Giroux. All in favor? And that's carried. Next, we'll move into the Christmas lights here. something I brought up at the last meeting, and I would imagine this is the high-end cost because we don't have any lights or anything like that, Ryan, but so it's a whole new thing, but it was just a thought to brighten up Christmas. So anyways, thanks for your report. Is there any questions or comments with regards to this? Go ahead, Barry.
Yes, the last line in his recommendation. Funds would come from council initiatives. Can come from Parks and Recreation.
He did offer that, I think, so that's good. If you wanted to go from there, that we can try and find it. We're gonna have lots of money left over anyway. We can pull it from the ice installation. So
Okay.
we could do the whole highway, Ryan.
Yeah, so just to comment on that, that was direction through our municipal treasurer that we should try coming from there, because that might be the appropriate place to come from there, but certainly we can look at including it under the Parks and Recreation budget if that's what council desires.
Okay, go ahead, Larry.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, Ryan, I was wondering if you guys had had the opportunity to look at any of the Christmas decoration stuff that we'd had in the past. We talked at the last meeting, there's the items that were made by the school, the welding class. Do you utilize those in some manner?
Hey, Ryan.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I wasn't at the last meeting when this was discussed, but I'm not really sure what decorations you're talking about.
Well, they got to be stored somewhere.
The old decorations that were on the poles, the Christmas trees and the, yeah, we had talked, I'm not sure what part of
we still do have some of those in storage, so.
Okay.
Utilized for this
I didn't realize that that's what you were talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so there is a report here. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we proceed with some Christmas decorations along number 7 highway. We're gonna have to buy new lights for the tree and probably hire Pup or somebody to put them up for us and so on and so forth. And there's some other little trees up along the highway and the shelter. I don't know how far you want to go, but I think we should start out with some new lights, especially for the tree, because we sure as hell don't want to have to put them up and then hire somebody to come and take them down and put up some new ones. So I'll just make a motion, we proceed, and Ryan, you can figure out what supplies you need.
Okay, moved by Councillor Pomeroy, then we go with the recommendation here, or the staff recommendation, or the report. Seconder.
Not quite, Jim. To come from Parks and Recreation.
Okay, come from Parks and Recreation Fund or account. Okay, moved by Councillor Pomeroy. Seconder for that. Councillor Ellis. Questions, comments? All in favor? And that's carried. The next report here we have is with regards to the public health and sewage system management agreement.
Holy fuck.
Morning, Mayor Martin and Council. This report is brought forward as follow-up to a 1.5-year meeting with the sewage agreement working group. It's been to the lawyers for most of the municipalities and the members, and this is its final draft, I'm hoping. The existing 1-year contract runs out with the health unit on November 18th. And we're looking to have this put in place to follow up with what we've had.
Okay, so we did have discussion with this at County Council. It got to County Council before it got to us. It was just the timing of this thing. So it's basically the same agreement that we had before, and there's only 6 municipalities that are in it. And that does have an impact if one of the municipalities was to get out of this agreement, it could impact the whole agreement for the whole of the county because they are running pretty tight on numbers there. So Barry, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the recommendations.
Okay, moved by Councillor Pomeroy that we move ahead with this. Do I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor Giroux.
With a comment through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, John, thanks for all the work you put in this. I know it's been quite a while, it's over a year now that you've been working on this for us, for the municipality, and that sure fits in right now. I think this is the only way to go at the present time, at least. So thank you for that.
Okay. All right, so any other comments or questions? All in favor of this motion? And that's carried. Thanks, John. Lots of work for that. So our next report, I'm gonna look for a motion to turn it over to Deputy Mayor Giroux as I gotta declare conflict here. So as I advertise in there. So Bianca, I don't know what you have to do to take me out of this meeting, but moved by Councillor Pomeroy and seconded by Councillor Ellis. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, go ahead, Dave.
Thank you, Mr.
Bianca, you can take me out of this thing then.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. He's gone now. I'll simply turn this over to Wendelin for her report, council, and we'll hear what she says.
Yeah, so basically, Ryan and I discussed that really the people that advertised and paid for advertising this year at the arena didn't receive the full value because of the closure. So we can defer all those payments to the 2021 budget and receive them at that time as revenue. And then we could use the COVID funding to offset the revenue loss in 2020 because we are only allowed to use that funding in 2020.
Okay, thank you, Wendelin. You've heard Wendelin's report. Council, what's your pleasure? Councillor Webb?
Sorry, you cut out there. What were we doing with the money?
So we'll just move it to a deferred revenue and then receive the money into the revenue in 2021.
Should the businesses not receive that money back, seeing that they didn't get any advertising this past year?
Well, normally they could potentially request that. But what we
really don't know if the rink's going to open again right now, do we?
No, so we would have to look at it at that time. But if someone was to come and ask for a refund, I think that it would be legitimate to refund that to a business, but we've had no requests yet at this time. So we're just looking forward to use the COVID funding towards the 2020 revenue and giving them that advertising in the next year.
But if they wanted their money back,
yeah, they'd have to send in
they could get their money back.
Yeah, I think that between Ryan and myself, that would be acceptable.
Well, it'd only be fair, right? Like, yeah. Because we really don't know as of right now that the rink's closed this year. The rink could be closed for 4 or 5 years, given what's going on. So I don't know why we would push it off to next year if we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so this report was created before the decision to keep the arena closed. So we would take any requests that somebody may desire to send into the office, but at this time we don't have any.
Thank you.
Okay.
Councillor Webb, if you so choose to put a motion on the floor that any of the advertisers within the arena wish their money back, they would receive it from the municipality, and for those that don't, it'll be referred to the 2021 budget. How's that? Would that be okay for your motion?
That sounds perfect, Deputy Mayor Giroux. Yeah, so well, just to restate what you already stated, any person or business that's advertised is eligible for a refund, and if they would like, then they can push it off to 21 or 22, as you said. So
Do I
They
have a
have that
seconder for
option.
that motion? Can I have a seconder for the motion?
Second the motion, Deputy Mayor Giroux.
Okay, the motion's been seconded by Councillor Ellis. All in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you, Gwendolyn. We can let the mayor back in. I'll take a motion to let the mayor resume the seat. Moved by Councillor Pomeroy and seconded by Councillor Ellis. First. Okay. The chair is yours, Mr. Mayor, if you can get back in. Thank you.
Okay, all right then. So am I back in the chair? Okay, all right then. We'll move on to employment insurance, Gwendolyn's report with regards to the reduction plan and elimination period for short-term disability. Gwendolyn, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is just to bring forward, there's a slight cost savings with this plan through EI. So we'll receive a reduced EI rate than the normal 1.4% that other businesses pay. And part of that plan is to reduce the 14-day waiting period to the 7-day waiting period, because a minimum of 5/12 of the savings has to go back to the employee as per the agreement.
Okay. All right then. Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion for this report. Councillor Pomeroy.
I'll make a motion that we proceed with this report that Gwendolyn has presented.
Okay, moved by Councillor Pomeroy, seconder. Deputy Mayor Giroux, comments or questions? All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gwendolyn. Next, we move into correspondence. There's no action items. There's just two letters, one from the Havelock Jamboree and another one from the ATV Club. Any questions or comments with regard to them? If not, I'll take a motion to receive the correspondence. Moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Deputy Mayor Giroux. All in favor? And that's carried. Next, we move into committee liaison reports. And let me catch up here. So the first report there we had was the library board from October 22nd, Councillor Pomeroy. Did you have anything to add to that, Barry, or?
Yeah, the library board is very concerned about taking over some of the space downstairs in the library where Stepping Stone was. And there's also another group, the Historical Society, that would, have the found some interest there too, that, to get out of the old town hall, and since they're not using it. And the building is basically vacant downstairs, except someone's baking down there. I don't know who that is, because I know that the new facilities at the school have a state-of-the-art kitchen, and the one in Norwood, I think, has a kitchen too. So I don't know why they would be doing baking in the basement. But anyway, that's the big thing. They've expressed some interest there, and wonder why that, the program is over as far as, the government is concerned. We set them up to get them started. It's a lucrative business, and it's not fair to our ratepayers, for to subsidize somebody in their baking or whatever. And anyway, they would like some answers.
They do have a contact there. I don't know why they don't reach out to them instead of us. They were working with Kathy, and so I ended up phoning Kathy this weekend, find out what was going on. And with COVID, they can't use the school kitchen, so they've had to do all their after-school cooking in the library because it was set up and passed by the health unit. So there's issues around that, and it all goes back to COVID. And it's a simple thing of they did. I think Beatty there was in contact with Kathy a long time ago, and she hasn't heard from her since. But I would recommend that the library board get in touch with Hucklebug, and there's a good answer for it anyways. It's COVID related, and all the protocols that they have, that they can't cook at the schools because they have a separate school program, and they're not allowed to mix the two together. So it was a simple answer, and they could have found that out real quick. But they do have the lease until 2023, and they are willing to share it though, and that's the thing. But they would have to be careful on other people coming in with the contact thing while they're in there. But they were more than willing to work with them to try and help them out. So I would recommend that they get in touch with Kathy and try and work something out. And with the Historical Society, we did approve forming a committee there, and I imagine that's going to be a part of it. We could, look at putting that in there. It would be a good spot for that. So, but anyways, that would be my suggestion. Is there is a good answer of why they're cooking down there, but maybe they need to hear it from her.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Well, they have a state-of-the-art kitchen in the new facilities. They must be doing something in that state-of-the-art kitchen. So I don't see why they, have to use the facilities or keep using them when we do have something that could go in there that our taxpayers are paying. I know that she'd been talking to Kathy, but maybe they should get together again and see what's going on, because like I say, it is a lucrative business and it's only fair to our taxpayer. I don't know whether these cookies are going to Norwood too. I have no idea.
All I know is if there's an explanation there, and if they should go and see her, because it was explained to me, and I'm obviously not explaining it right. That's why it would be better if it came from her.
Yeah. That
the ones at the schools are used for the schools, and the kitchen there is being used for their facilities to spread the cooking around. They can't mix the two together, and it's a health unit thing that they're up against here. So anyways, I would recommend that is it Robin Beatty?
Robbie, yeah.
She should get in touch with Kathy, and I'm sure there's something could be worked out there.
Okay.
Okay. All right then, Dave, you have a bunch of things that you did there. I don't see any minutes to receive, but it looks like you've been busy with EOTA.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. No, the minutes come in, but they come in late, so our acting CEO and our clerk didn't have a chance to get them on this agenda. They'll likely be there on the next agenda. And yes, we have been extremely busy at the trails. Snowmobile season is coming, and there's contracts to be worked out on that behalf. And Hastings County has some issues that we have to get solved. So it's been a very busy time, and those minutes are forthcoming. Thank you.
Okay. All right then. And and with mine there, lots of meetings going on. Last week, there was a couple of county meetings, one with service delivery review, working towards something there with the county and trying to work with the municipalities and staff to try and come up with some efficiencies. We did have a streamlining and efficiencies meeting with the townships on Friday, and police service meeting, we weren't able to get quorum, so we had to cancel that. Dave was there. We did have some discussion around ATVs and what's happening there, but other than that, there was no minutes or anything because it was just we didn't have quorum, so we couldn't carry on. So we'll have to work on that part of it. I did ask Dave when they're going to be appointing a provincial appointee, and they haven't got there yet. So that'll have to be dealt with. And then the other thing was with Dave there at his meeting on Wednesday last week, he did suggest that council's welcome to come. He's going to try and do an overview of the budget from Thursday. He's going to do it Friday at 8:30. So if you're interested, let me know, and I imagine it'll be like he uses WebEx or something. I'm not sure if that's how it's going to go, or a phone conference, but anybody that's interested, I did tell him we have budget that morning that we would only be able to stay for half an hour, 45 minutes, but if he can give the highlights in that time, that's more of what it'll be, because there'll be a lot of people on the call. There won't be a lot of time for questions or anything like that. It'll be more of a listening event, but let me know. We'll get that set up and squeeze in some time before our budget meeting on Friday morning. Other than that, that's all I had from the liaison report. So go ahead, Barry.
The one more thing, Your Honor, the tour of the Peterborough housing development. Have you arranged for maybe to take the rest of council in, and have a look?
Yeah, she's
and it should be even better now because they've got more done, and they paved the parking lot this past week. So
yeah,
it's looking good.
Yeah, Dave and I went through the county. They invited us with the board there, and she said as soon as they get rid of the hard hat thing, there's a lot of things around it that makes it hard right now and the numbers, but she is going to invite council in. So it should be in the next week or two. She told me 2 to 3 weeks at that meeting, I think, Dave, didn't she? So it should be, and I said to her that you had already been in, but if you're still interested in going again, you can let her know. Anyways, she'll probably invite you again anyways, Barry. So anyways, that's
council should be invited.
They will be.
Yeah.
So okay, and it is coming along really well. It's going to be a beautiful spot. Anyways, sorry I missed that, but is there anything else under liaison reports that was missed or didn't get in time for the agenda?
I may have one more here, Jim. The AMO.
Is this new business or liaison?
Okay, no, carry on. This is new business.
Okay. All right. I'll take a motion to receive the liaison reports. Moved by Deputy Mayor Giroux and seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay. And next we have written or oral notice of motions. Does anyone have any notice of motions to put in at this meeting? If not, we'll move forward to new business. So, so we're into new business, Barry. Actually, just wait, Councillor Ellis, go ahead, and then Barry will be after you anyways. So.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I asked staff to look up resolution from council from back. It was actually done on July 15th, resolution of council. Regarding efficiencies, there was a number of things that I had brought forward to council at that meeting. And because we're getting close to budget and talking efficiency strategies, as you guys did in the county, I asked Bianca to I couldn't find it myself, so she brought the resolution back and I reviewed it with CAO Bob Angioni. So part of the discussion at that time was regarding, again, efficiencies, but it was direction to staff through a resolution to council to look at efficiencies as a whole through all of staffing. And when I spoke with Bob Angioni last week, he indicates that that's part of how they do business now when they have their staff meetings. Part of that discussion back in July of 19 was around direction to each department to come forward before the next budget with an efficiency strategy to recognize savings for this budget. The goal was to be in the inflammation. I get inflammation in my shoulder. And reflect the percentage set out by the government for an increase. So again, I talked to Bob the other day about it, and he explained that's how they're doing business now. But again, part of that resolution was around each department establishing some part of how they do business to reflect an efficiency strategy, whether it would be directly related to cost savings or just an efficiency where you've changed how you're doing business. So that's why I brought it back. There were 5 other items. Most of them, I believe, have been addressed. I'll just refer to them just briefly because both Wendland and Ryan are here. So the department reporting was one of the discussions we had back there, and we see a great change and an improvement on department reporting. We get more information, and that was lacking back then, back in 2019. We asked to update the department for accounts receivable policy, and I believe if Wendland is with us, accounts is now in place, Wendland?
Yes.
Okay. Another one was there was no policy, and we had discussion around lending money because back then there was an issue about lending money. And I think we have, Wendland, is that correct? We have something in place now there?
No, I think that would come forward through the budget process if council decided to have some sort of grant available for requests for different things within the township, whether it be a building permit or some sort of fee structure. We can't just write it off. We would have to pull it from that grant money through the budget process and put money there to do those things.
And the last one, and again, it's been addressed from what I understand, was a policy around our cell phone usage. And at that time we discussed the number of cell phones, for an example, being used. In many cases, it was felt by council and staff that the amount of cell phones in use was not required, but I think we were just going to let them run out and then probably not reissue them. So
And a number of cell phones have been reduced out of the overall, but I'll let Bob talk to that because we are leaning towards the stipend versus the cell phone.
Bob, go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. I'd like to thank Councillor Ellis for bringing this forward again. We did have a conversation about this last week. The efficiency discussion is always an interesting one and always a challenging one. Initially, when this originally came up, we were hanging our hat on a grant application that we had submitted to the province to have that efficiency study completed. We waited a number of months to get a response to that grant application, and in the end, we were unsuccessful with that application. So further to that, we move along and we have been addressing it ourselves internally. This is a conversation that we're working hard to make part of our normal day-to-day process, and certainly a regular part of our staff and management team meetings. So we continue to address that issue. As Mayor Martin indicated earlier in the meeting, we attended an efficiency meeting last Friday, which involved the county and all the townships in the county. That's one vehicle for helping this process, and there were some great discussions in that meeting, and even simple things like fire extinguishers. and office materials and those kind of things. So it was a great discussion. And this committee, it was the first time for me attending. I'm considering this to be a new committee. I think it had met once before, but it was quite some time ago. So it was basically dormant and it's now been revived. So I expect some good things to happen from there. One of the ideas that Mayor Martin and I have talked about, and I really like this idea. I don't know if we can make this happen. It's very ambitious, but the notion of sharing the ice time within all the communities of Peterborough County, I think there's an opportunity there to do something. I don't know that everyone can buy in on that, but somewhere down the road, I think we can do something with that. Let's face it, City of Peterborough doesn't have to build a $50 million arena. There's plenty of ice around the county that everyone can share in, but we'll see if we can ever make that happen. But those kind of things are being discussed. We're trying to make that part of our everyday working life here. It remains a work in progress. And certainly as we head now toward budget, it's the perfect time to revive that discussion. With respect to cell phones, that also is on the table and remains a work in progress. We expect to have a policy here shortly. My personal preference is to have a stipend for staff that require a cell phone. We have had other discussions around different models and not everyone was comfortable with that. So we're working through that, but we will be bringing something forward here shortly.
And through you, Mr. Mayor, that was the intention way back in July of 2019. And so I would congratulate staff because it's working, as you see, not only internally, but throughout the county. So congratulations to staff. And again, that was the intention back then, not to point fingers in any way, but to improve. So great work.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Are you finished there, Larry?
That's good. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Councillor Pomeroy, you had something.
Yeah, this probably applies to Wendland, but AMO have published an infrastructure resiliency infrastructure grant, and it's an 80-20 federal and provincial. So there's no match on the local side here, and I'm not sure just exactly what is involved in it, but it's worthwhile looking into. I think. If have you got any information on that, Wendland?
I have some recent AMO emails, but I just haven't reviewed them all.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that's probably one of them. So I'll go back through the AMO emails that I have and look that up.
Yeah, I think there's another infrastructure grant too, but I don't know whether it's applicable or not. But anyway, that one I think would be worth taking a look at anyway.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's up to $100,000 or something, Barry, if it's the one I'm thinking of. It just came out last week. So anyways, it'll...
And some of it's for repairs too, I think, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that came out at similar time to our OMPF allocation of what was it, 1.3 million we're getting. So, okay.
Yeah, and the resiliency one, it's, like I say, it's an 80-20, but I'm not just sure what's applicable in it. If you look at that one, but the other one there for 100,000 is for repairs to some of your infrastructure.
Yeah. Okay. Did you have anything else, Barry, under?
No, that's good. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
All right. So, and I had a couple things on there. One of them I've looked after. I asked about Remembrance Day lowering our flag, but it's told that we don't lower our flag, which I think is right. We don't lower our township flag on Remembrance Day, which is something I was trying to do to kind of recognize that day in some way, because it's not going to be the same as other years. But we are getting a wreath, and I will be placing the wreath at some point probably the 10th or the 11th. They don't want grouping there, so they're not having an official date. So I did talk to Tina last week about it, and this is what they suggested. So go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. I think it would be nice if the Legion would go down and run the flags, you know, someone go down and lower the flags at the cenotaph. I would imagine that they would, but maybe we should jog their memory. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a plan in place. That's up to them, but
Yeah.
you can give them a call if you like. The other thing I had on here was the Matheson Committee, and we did find out that I guess I'm not on the Matheson Committee, or something happened there. So we got to get some meetings going on there. So I just thought I would bring that up here. Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, I think we already talked about this, but back when we did the committees, I think I switched the
Yeah.
cemetery board for the Matheson because the mayor normally sat on the cemetery board.
Yeah.
And for reasons being, that's where we switched.
Yeah. So I think that's something, we are going to be doing committees, and, you know, I don't mind sticking. I was on the committee last term. I don't mind staying on that committee, and I would like to, I think there's going to be some good discussions over the winter here. So go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, there's one more thing I forgot about again, but I think it's brought up a couple of years ago, is the name on the end of our arena, Havelock-Belmont-Methuen. Some of it's missing and some of it's broken, and are we going to get that repaired? That's the question that has been posed to me a few times.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we've ordered a new sign that's going to be installed this fall.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it an arena or a running track? Anyways, go ahead, Bob, and then Larry.
Through you, Mayor Martin, just a quick item with respect to service on committees. As you know, we have advertised for community volunteers to assist with any committee that they wish to serve on. At this time, if any council members wish to switch committees, now would be the time to do that. So we will be bringing that report back to council in December, and that would be the time to make any adjustments if council wishes.
Okay. All right, then Larry, go ahead.
Sorry, kind of flipping back there while we talked about signs. Did we ever get the one corrected at the seniors building? Remember, it was a topic back at election time?
Yeah, it could be out of council initiatives, maybe, if you like. It's a private building, but or whatever. It's not our building, but we wanted to put that out. I know it did come up. So
Good for thought. Thank you.
yeah, it's Methuen is spelled wrong, I think, if I remember right. And yeah, somebody suggested that we fix it. So if you ever want to make a motion on that, Larry, you can go ahead. But we'll leave it for now. So, and then the other thing I had on here was strategic plan update, and we did have it on our agenda a couple of weeks ago or a couple of meetings ago. Ours isn't a strategic plan. We kind of took the economical route and did a what was it called, a priority list. It needs to be reviewed, and we need to look at it. It should have been really probably updated to make sure where our priorities are. So I think in the future here, we should be calling a meeting specifically for the priority list, or we should have really had a strategic plan in the first place. But anyways, we went this route, and it's in need of an update. So normally you do it at the beginning of the term, and that does you for the whole term, but it should be reviewed yearly to see if we've accomplished anything off of it. And so I think we should, as soon as we get budget done, we should be trying to get a half a day together to go over our priority list and make sure it's up to date. That's all that's there for. So if there's anything Anything else from council? Go ahead, Barry. You're muted.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. The list that you speak of, should we not have something there that maybe that we need updated for to go on the budget? You know, like this is what there's some things that that are gonna go ahead, like we hope, the long-term care. But like that was always our #1 project. But we should bring some of the other ones into play that we've had and not got around to them yet. Or maybe we got some new ones, but I think it'd be more beneficial before we struck our budget than after, because then you're going to be another year behind. Just a thought.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bob.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. We do have, as part of our budget process, we do have time allocated for council to express priorities before we get into the nuts and bolts of the final budget. So there will be a day dedicated to council bringing forth a priority listing.
Thanks, Bob.
So we should be reviewing the priority list that we did back in 18 there, or when we first got elected, and see if there's anything that needs addressed in this budget. And you're right, Barry, that'll move forward. The other things I had here was I'm doing the food drive with Dave Smith on November 21st, and all of council's welcome to come out. It's a Saturday between 10 and 2 if you want to drop in. It's at Foodland. He's doing it around all the grocery stores around his riding, and our date is on 21st of November. So we will be advertising this and getting the word out to come on out and support it. Our food bank has had some issues as far as the food shortage, and Kawartha Food Share is one of the suppliers. So, and the other thing I had was yesterday I did Murray and Lorraine Barton's 70th anniversary. That's the longest anniversary I've ever done. So, anyways, it was family attended, and it was the distancing and the masks, and anyways, quite a milestone, 70 years. So, but that's all I have in new business. And is there anything else here? Seeing none, take a motion to receive all those. I receive all the reports here.
Sorry.
Bob, go ahead.
Sorry, through you, Mayor Martin, just one other item on the listing. Further to council's request, a special council meeting has been set for November the 10th with members of PlanMac Engineering to review their delegation that they did a few meetings ago.
Sorry about that, Bob. I didn't scroll down enough. It was hidden behind my screen.
Oh, good.
So anyway,
No
technically challenged. Okay, so that's good. I just don't know about the in-person meeting. I think the Zoom, after watching the meeting we did last week, and I did have some comments from the public that Zoom works a lot better than these in-person meetings right now with all the challenges around them. But that's up to council. It's just that wasn't a very good meeting that we had last week as far as everything that goes along with the protocols to try and do it in person. So, but we'll keep this one set November 10th and see if we can do a better job at it. So, Barry?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I think with this meeting, there's going to be some drawings out on the board, and it would be pretty hard to do on a Zoom meeting. So I think it's vital that we have a look at it.
Okay, so the public is welcome to this meeting, is that right? It's a public meeting, so.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. Yes, the public is welcome to this meeting, and the standard COVID protocols will apply. Okay,
because there's a lot of people interested in this because it's going to impact George Street. We've been trying to get that done for 100 years, and so this is something that we need to get moving. So it's good that you got it this quick. You know, and this will help things for that grant that we keep applying for to try and get it done. Okay. That's it for new business. Motion to receive all the reports. Moved by Councillor Ellis and seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, we do have one bylaw here, and it's a bylaw to, with the County City Health Unit with regards to sewage, looking after the sewage system management agreement. Moved by Councillor Pomeroy and seconded by Deputy Mayor Giroux with a big yawn. And all in favor? And that's carried. All right then. So we will have a closed session meeting here. What time is that at, Bob? 1 o'clock?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, that will be 1 o'clock in the council chamber.
Okay, so I'll look for a confirming bylaw motion for the confirming bylaw. Deputy, oh, Dave, go ahead.
Get myself unmuted. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to ask our acting CEO, Mr. Anjoni, is it too late to add a small item? If it is, that's fine on the closed.
Through you, Mayor Martin, if council accepts the addition of an item,
No, I
it
would
is
ask
not too late.
Council, it's a personnel matter, so I would ask your indulgence. It won't take long.
Okay,
Motion to approve in addition.
okay. Mover is Deputy Mayor Giroux and the seconder is Councillor Ellis. All in favor? And that's carried. Did we lose Hart? Okay. All right then. So I'll look for the confirming bylaw. Moved by Deputy Mayor Giroux and seconded by somebody. Councillor Ellis. All in favor? And that's carried. And motion to adjourn, moved by Councillor Pomeroy and seconded by somebody. Deputy Mayor Giroux. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, thanks guys. See you at 1 o'clock.